The movie opens with Caro, the house help, appearing distressed as she informs her boss that the police have taken the son away. This news deeply troubles her boss, who becomes anxious about her son's whereabouts. She immediately makes a call, seeking help. The next scene features a young and beautiful woman returning home from work, visibly exhausted. She receives a call from her mother, who apologizes for not answering her previous calls. Back at the house, the son who had been arrested returns, furious, and arguing with his mother about his lifestyle choices. It is revealed that he was arrested for drug-related issues. His mother urges him to join the family company and work with them, but he adamantly refuses and storms out. Late at night, Caro hears a moaning sound coming from her boss's son's room. Concerned, she calls her madam to explain what is happening. The son angrily emerges from his room and demands that she leave immediately. The next day, the mother returns and confronts her son about what she heard from the maid. She urges him to settle down and get married, but he refuses and storms out once again. The boss then asks Caro, the house help, if she knows a decent and attractive woman who could be a suitable wife for her son. To her surprise, Caro suggests herself as the perfect match. This response displeases the woman, who sternly tells Caro to return to her room. In the next scene, the beautiful lady is seen making a call, trying to reach her boyfriend. When he answers, he's clearly angry. It becomes apparent that she has asked him for a loan, but he is frustrated and refuses to help her. In his anger, he ends the conversation by breaking up with her. Back at the house, Caro enters the son's room, attempting to seduce him and make him her boyfriend. However, her actions backfire. The son becomes enraged by her behavior, and as she tries to leave, he angrily grabs a pillow and hits her with it on the bed. The next day, Caro hears the son coming down the stairs, shouting angrily into a phone, threatening to kill someone. She approaches him, trying to convince him not to go through with his plan. This only infuriates him further, and he grabs her by the neck, warning her not to interfere in his affairs. Later, the son returns with a deep cut and goes straight to his room. Concerned, his mother calls the doctor, asking him to come and help, as her son refuses to go to the hospital. The doctor then calls the beautiful lady, asking her to go and attend to the son. Although she is not pleased about the request, she agrees and goes to the house, hoping to help him. Upon arriving, she gets into an argument with him because of his stubborn attitude. Despite the tension, she tries her best to tend to his wound as quickly as possible. On her way home, she encounters the son's mother, who asks her to return and continue taking care of her son, knowing he refuses to go to the hospital. The mother offers to pay her a generous weekly sum if she agrees. It's an offer she can't refuse. Back at her house, she thinks about the money and envisions how it could help her sick mother. The thought of being able to support her family makes the offer even more tempting. She arrives home and finds Caro, who is clearly jealous, believing she's there to take her man. Caro angrily talks to his picture, upset because the house help had told her that he wasn't home. Later, she encounters Caro, who is rude and tries to provoke a fight with her. On her way home after her day, she meets the woman who had previously offered her to stay with the son while she goes on a business trip. The woman offers her an additional large sum of money on top of what they had already agreed to pay her. On her way back to start her work, she sees the son bringing a woman home. They are smoking and enjoying their time together. She confronts him about his behavior. One night, the son tries to leave the house after 10 p.m. The young lady opposes him, refusing to let him go. In response, he grabs her and throws her onto the sofa. The son then brings a man into the room and beats him up. The young lady tries to intervene, but she is stopped by the house help. After the house help leaves, she rushes back to the room, knocks on the door, and threatens to call his mother or the police in an attempt to stop him. However, her efforts are unsuccessful. One day, the beautiful lady notices that everyone at home is in a sad mood. When she asks, she is told that it's the anniversary of the day the son lost his twin brother and father. She immediately goes to him, trying to comfort him. It is then that he opens up, pouring his heart out and sharing how deeply that day still affects him. In an effort to make him feel better, they end up drinking together, and she confesses that she loves him. The next morning, she wakes up in his bed, worried about what had happened the night before. As she checks her phone, she discovers she has 12 missed calls. She calls back, only to learn that her mother has passed away. The news shatters her, and overwhelmed with grief, she quickly packs her things and leaves the house. The son wakes up and searches for her, but is told she left in tears. The news deeply saddens him, and he calls his mother to ask for her number. Unable to reach her, he becomes increasingly uncomfortable. Her absence pains him, and he finds himself unable to carry on with his usual routine, as the memories of her weigh heavily on him. When the mother returns, she is told that her son hasn't been able to do anything. He's not eating, not going out, or engaging in any other activities. Concerned, she goes to him and discovers that the sudden departure of the beautiful lady from the house has deeply troubled him. He eventually finds her at her house and tries to apologize, believing he was the reason she left without informing anyone. She then tells him that it was because she lost her mother. He comforts her briefly, then leaves, respecting her space. Later, he surprises her with food and flowers, making her feel better. He tells her how much he cares for her and assures her that he will always be there for her, offering comfort and support. He begins making time for her, inviting her over for lunch, taking her out, driving her around, and even giving her money to take care of herself. In doing so, he leaves behind his previous life, focusing more on her and their growing connection. His relationship with the beautiful lady reveals a different side of him, one that everyone begins to admire. He becomes a good son, the kind his mother had always hoped for, showing kindness, responsibility, and care that had previously been hidden. One day she tells him how much she loves him, but she expresses that she believes their relationship is more of a friendly love than a romantic one. Confused by her mixed feelings, he rejects her proposal, unsure of how to move forward. Later, he apologizes for his words and sends her a beautiful necklace as a gesture of regret. She tries calling him repeatedly to thank him, but he avoids her calls. Despite her efforts, he continues to distance himself, even when she shows up at his home. His mother notices his behavior and asks him the reason behind it. He explains that it's due to his previous life, filled with enemies and complications. His mother advises him to go after her before he loses her for good. He later goes to her home, hoping to make up for his actions. However, the conversation quickly escalates into an argument, and she asks him to leave, unable to forgive him in that moment. Immediately after he leaves, one of the son's enemies kidnaps the beautiful lady and sends a message to the son, informing him of what he has done. The kidnapper demands double the amount of money, or else the beautiful lady will die. As soon as he receives the message, the son immediately sends the requested money to the kidnapper. He then rushes to retrieve the beautiful lady and brings her safely back to his home. In the next scene, the son proposes to the beautiful lady in a romantic setup. He confesses that he lied when he said he didn't love her and asks her to stay in his life. He then proposes to her, and she happily agrees. The scene ends with a joyful celebration of their newfound commitment. Did you enjoy our in-depth recap of this romantic comedy movie? If so, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring you even more detailed analyses and recaps.